everyone. Welcome back to Susan Dawn's Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union energy update. I am so tired. It's been such a busy week and I do want to take a nap, but I wanted to get a reading out first because it is going to continue to be a busy October. I hope everybody got through September okay. It was very heavy with regards to the energies of the eclipses. There was a lot of revelations and revealing and reflection and releasing that was happening on all levels, not just within dynamics and relationships and connections, but on all levels. And with the last eclipse that we just experienced at the end of September, there was a lot of illumination, a lot of clarity, a lot of shifts that were happening as well. And you can experience that with regards to your finances opening up, with regards to your connection opening up, deepening your connection, or opening up if there's been no contact, no communication. Some of you might actually even be meeting new counterparts and new people, deepening your connection or conversation, opening up communication with a counterpart that is coming back from the past. It really depends on where your journey is, what your specific situation is. Remember, this is a collective reading, and so everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different. There could have been opening up and healing within family dynamics, job opportunities, or opportunities in general might have opened up, but that's what it feels like. It feels like the valve had opened. There might have been some pressure leading up to it with the eclipse energy, but now it feels like the valve has opened. And what it was is you were releasing the resistance, and that's what the eclipse was helping us with and supporting us with, releasing any resistance. And so if you listen to my special channeling for the eclipse as well as some previous Sacred Union energy updates, we did talk about that, where you might be having ego flares. I call them ego tantrums because they're kind of like your inner child is having a temper tantrum, because you are changing, you are growing, you are evolving, you are shifting in consciousness. And when you experience a shift in consciousness, it's a new way of looking at things, new way of seeing yourself or understanding the world, a new belief, a new pattern. And so when you're experiencing that consciousness shift, your ego will flare because your ego likes what it knows. Your ego is your defense mechanism, your survival mechanism. And when we have been in survival for so long, thriving seems like foreign territory. When we have existed in chaos for so long, peace seems unexpected and uncertain and unfamiliar and even unsafe. And so this journey, this whole Sacred Union path of ascension, has been bringing us deeper and deeper into connection with ourselves and with counterparts, with each other, and with the world as a whole, and learning about unconditional love. And again, when you've never had that conditional or unconditional love, when you've had conditioned love, it can feel unsafe, it can feel uncertain. When you've existed in chaos, peace feels dangerous. When you have existed in survival mode for so long due to trauma and past experiences, thriving and success, which is dictated by you and not anything outside of you, seems, again, like foreign territory. But that's where we're moving into. We are moving into thriving. We are moving into personal empowerment. We are moving into peace. And most importantly, we are moving into love, divine love, sacred love, recognizing the sacredness of love as a whole. So, we're going to be doing a Sacred Union energy update today. I really wanted to get one available for you after this whole eclipse energy, but again, it was just so busy. And the rest of October, the rest of the year is going to be, number one, busy, but also it's going to be, for me, a time for me to step further in, go take some time to myself and be a little bit more internal. So it's kind of like I'm finding the balance. This for me, the rest of the year is going to be about embodiment. And when I am taking this time, similar to the sabbatical and break that I took in June of this year, this past summer, it might not look so different on the surface to you guys. It might not look like I'm taking a step back. But the way that I operate my business, the way that I am doing things behind the scenes is going to be a little bit more balanced, is going to be more intentional, is going to be more embodied. And when I am in that space of embodiment, I'm able to bring even more to you, to our community, to our teachings, because it's all about the embodiment. It's all about how are you experiencing and putting it into practice. It's one thing to understand spiritual concepts, it's one thing to intellectualize all of your journey and what you know about your journey, but it's another thing to anchor that in, integrate it, and embody it, to put it into practice in our physical human experience. And that's what this higher heart ascension is about. We go through different phases of our awakening and ascension journey, and ascension, I always say, is a whole new ball game. So part of our awakening, we go through maybe initial awakening and many different levels and layers of spiritual awakening, waking up to truth, waking up to your personal path, waking up to your beliefs. And then ascension is all about leaning into that, all about putting it into practice, all about the embodiment. And again, you'll have multiple layers and levels of your ascension journey as well. And for me, it is taking a step back, so that I can integrate more, so that I can experience more and embody more, so that I can bring those teachings forward to you, just as I've always done through the evolution of my business here with Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections, and also in my life, because it's not just Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections, it is also everything that I do and everything that I am. You know, this business is just an expression, an extension of me. But whether it's my novels, whether it's my nonprofit, whether it is my family dynamics, my friendships, or just how I am in life, it's about becoming more and more authentically us, more and more authentically you. And part of that is just simply living, enjoying, embodying, and bringing all of that, like I said, into practice. And so I'm going to have a newsletter, and also it's going to be up on my Substack over the next couple of days, an announcement that further details the how, the why, and what it means for our community here, what you can expect over the next 3 months. Again, I'm taking a little bit of a step back. It's not going to look so different, I don't believe, but there are going to be some changes, including the readings and how we do the readings here on YouTube. There will still be Sacred Union energy updates as I'm called to, but we're also going to be evolving into more ascension, more of how are we embodying that sacred union. So if you've been paying attention to our sacred channelings where we do the deep dives, our ascension relationship readings, and our ascension readings, soul path readings, we're going to be doing more of those as well. But again, it might not be every day, every week. It's going to be as I'm called, just to give myself a little bit of space, a little bit of room and breathing room, so that I can round out and end the year on the note that I wish to end on. So, and then come back with a lot more and a lot renewed. So I will have that announcement coming out over the next couple of days, so make sure you're signed up for my newsletter or join the Substack, The Mystic and the Muse, because I'll have the full throttle of all that information there. But I hope that you stick around. I hope that you are, enjoying what we do, because this is an ever-evolving journey. Just as your spiritual connection and journey is evolving, so too are we, because this what I do here is an evolution in of itself. It's my own personal journey that I share and extend to support you guys, and that is an evolution in and of itself. So with that in mind, let's take a look and do a final Sacred Union energy update. It's not going to be final, but while I'm on a bit of a sabbatical, a little bit of a break, I'm going to only do them as I'm called. All right, so let's take a look and see what's going on for the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, and the Union energies. Again, we're moving into a stage of embodiment where you are coming into connection, conscious connection, with either the counterpart, the twin flame, the sacred partner, whatever label you want to use, of the person that you were catalyzed to your ascension journey with. Or this could be maybe you're on the soulmate path. We have a workshop in our Ascension Connections portal, the soulmate path. That might be relevant for you as well if you're meeting a high-level soulmate. There is no wrong way or right way to do this journey. It is personal to you, and I want to emphasize that, because I think that there is so much misconstruing in the spiritual community, especially when it comes to twin flame sacred partners. There is no right way or wrong way to do this journey, just the way that is perfect for you. And if you are meeting a soulmate and you are wanting to experience that connection, it's just because you're in alignment with that higher level of love. You're in alignment with it. And so enjoy that love. Maybe there's something that you're learning from that person. Maybe there's something that you want to experience that maybe your counterpart isn't ready for it, that you want to experience in your life. Whatever it is, don't attach the label on the journey. I talk about that in my book, The Unity Code. I talk about that in previous Sacred Union energy updates. Please don't attach the label. The label is what keeps us trapped in consciousness loops. By tuning into your heart, by tuning into your soul, where your connection is, what your connection is, and what it feels, what you know intuitively is your truth. And so you write the blueprint for your story. You write the blueprint for your life. You are manifesting and creating your life every single moment. It's just that when we attach, it has to look a certain way or it has to follow a certain blueprint. It doesn't. You are literally writing the blueprint. You are literally doing it yourself. And so we could have collective energies where it looks similar and we might be part of a collective segment, but you are still doing it yourself. And so that's where you always, always, always have to trust and honor your intuition and your path, your personal path, and also recognize yourself as the empowered creator. You are creating your life. So empower yourself to create your life. Don't get caught up in scarcity. Don't get caught up in lack. Don't get caught up in helplessness around your journey. If you're feeling helpless, if you're feeling lack, if you're feeling scarcity around your journey, pull that energy back from perhaps your counterpart and bring it back to yourself. What do you want to create for your life? What do you want to experience in your life? That's where you create. And so you can have the life of your dreams. Just make sure that you are not attaching to anything that keeps you trapped in a consciousness loop. Okay? So I have more about that in the Unity Code. We talk deep into that in the Higher Heart Academy and our workshops. So if you need any support or you're not sure what resources to use, simply send me an email and I'll point you in the right direction. All right, let's see what's going on for these connections. Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, the union energies for yourself, for your counterpart connection, or for the global collective as a whole. What do we need to know for the Divine Masculine right now? Where's the Divine Masculine? What do we need to know for the Divine Masculine right now? What do we need to know for the Divine Masculine right now? Immediately what I hear is out of the cave. I'm not getting pointed to this envy card because I don't feel that. That might be for like maybe 0.1%. If they are kind of looking outside of themselves, they might even be looking at you, Divine Feminine, and feeling a little bit envious. Maybe that you have it all together. Maybe that you are glowing up. Maybe that for some of you who are in another connection, they might be seeing that as well. So that might be for a very, very small collective. The healed masculine, however, which is what we usually channel for, the healed or healing masculine, what I'm getting is coming out of the cave where they might have been in this energy in the past, kind of holding themselves away. Now there's a very bright present and future that's available for them, and they're realizing that. They're realizing that all they have to do is step through the door. They have everything that they need. All they have to do is step through the door, and there's not even a door. Like, that's just an archway. It's just a threshold. All they have to do is cross it for their dreams, to take action on their dreams. All they have to do is just, step out of the shadow and move into the light. And that's been part of an ascension journey, is facing the shadows. That is part of your work on the ascension journey, is doing the inner work, the inner healing, which is facing the shadows. But also, when you've done the shadow work, it's also light work, because you also are realizing the light of who you are. So you face the darkness within yourself, and you honor the light. So I'll give myself an example. One of my core wounds that I didn't realize was a core wound, because I've been so self-aware and into self-development for so long, and into growth for so long, that I've always done self-development and shadow work. But one of the things was me never believing truly that I was special. I've had people throughout my life say that and even admire that, but I never fully was able to take it in. I was never be able to honor that, hey, I can be special too. I was always saying other people are special, but I'm just a regular person. It reminded me, if any of you have seen Doctor Who, which is one of my absolute favorite shows, there's a character called Donna Noble, and she's a temp from Chiswick, is what she says. I'm just a temp from Chiswick. And the doctor says, you're the most important person in the whole universe. And she's like, how can that be? I'm just a temp. I'm a temp worker. I work in an office from Chiswick. She's like, I'm from nowhere. I'm nothing. That's how I felt my whole life. And I venture to guess that that's how a lot of people feel too. But that's part of the shadow work. It's the flip of the shadow work. It's recognizing your light, recognizing that, yes, you are worthy. Yes, you are special too. It doesn't take away from anybody else being special, but you can honor that about yourself. You can love yourself. So I feel like what's happening is this masculine is going through their own shadow work, but also beginning to grow and evolve in their light. Now, this is not coming from ego. There's a difference between ego, which is arrogance and conceit, and truly recognizing your worth, truly recognizing the love, truly recognizing yourself. The shadow is the ego. You're not in that ego anymore, divine masculine. Or at the very least, that is where you are healing. You're learning to trust the soul more. You're learning how to honor the heart. You're getting into alignment with your heart. And when you're in alignment with your heart, it's not in alignment with the ego, or you can't be connected to the ego because you're in alignment with the heart. So I feel like what's happening is where there might have been arrogance, where there might have been ego, where there might have been conceit, which is all false sense of self. It's all a false sense of self-worth. That's all arrogance is. That's all conceit is. It's a false sense of self-worth that hides insecurities, that hides feeling worthless, unworthy. It's a false sense of self. So as you get to know yourself deeper and deeper and deeper, which is what part of our ascension journey is, know thyself. We channeled that many years ago with the Oracle of Delphi. To know thyself is your greatest power. Your greatest power. And it is a true power. It's not a control. It's not a false kind of power. It's a true connection to oneself. And when you're connected to yourself, you are connected to God's source. You are connected to the oneness of the world, because you are deeply connected to your soul. And your soul is part of that oneness. Your soul is part of God's source. So I feel like what's happening here is they've been doing this shadow work, this inner healing, this inner work, and stepping into true worthiness. Again, not the false of the ego, not the false that kind of is a facade or a mask of insecurity or for insecurity, that gives way to spiritual ego or arrogance or conceit or any of those things. This is true worth. Recognizing I am worthy. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of a life that I want. I am worthy of my dreams and my goals. I am worthy of work that fulfills me. I am worthy of family. I am worthy of connection. I am worthy. It's whatever, however that resonates with you. I am worthy is what the divine masculine is understanding, and it's true worth because they're connecting deeply to themselves, coming out of the shadow and stepping into the light. It's a really beautiful energy. Let's see what's going on for the divine feminine. Let's see what's going on for the divine feminine. Let's see what's going on for the divine feminine. We have adjacent possibilities. Divine feminine, I feel like everything is opening up for you. Where things might have been in a little bit of resistance and a little bit stagnant and stuck over the past month or so. And that could even be back, definitely in September we felt this, but this could even go back as far as August or July. But definitely we were feeling this in September with the eclipses. It felt like a little bit of a pressure cooker, but it wasn't like an external pressure. It was just like we want to get the ball moving, but the valve was shut. But you could feel there was something on the other side of the horizon. It goes back to where we were back in March and April. We were feeling this back in March and April too. It's like, okay, I can feel like there's something here, but nothing's happening. Well, there was a lot that was happening underneath the surface. There's always a undercurrent of energy that is moving, even if we can't see it in the physical. But where we get frustrated is because we're not seeing it in the physical. And so we get frustrated and we think that, oh, nothing's happening. And that just perpetuates a cycle within ourselves of resistance, right? So what happened with the eclipse was we received some clarity. A lot was revealed to us. We were holding ourselves back, where we were keeping ourselves small, where we were keeping ourselves in resistance. And so that's where the valve kind of opened, and now I feel like there's a lot of opportunities. You might have taken one or two small steps, but those one or two small steps opened up a whole range of opportunities for you. It's because you had the courage to take some kind of action, and the universe responds to action. It's not just about making a decision and making a choice. That's part of it. That's the first step. Making a decision, making a choice. But when you actually take action, that's going to open everything up for you. So it could be something with finances, like you apply for a new job or take a new job. It could be like, asking for a loan or getting a loan. It could be, what else can happen with finances? It could be that I don't know, you sell something, you decide to sell something. I don't know. Or it could be with connections where you decide, you know what, I'm just kind of spinning my wheels here. This isn't working for me. It feels kind of stuck. It feels kind of stagnant. So I'm going to take the lead within myself, and maybe I'm going to reach out. Maybe I'm going to, be the one to reach out and, start communication or see if there's any communication that can be had. Maybe this is, for example, if there's a friendship that you miss, but there hasn't been any communication, maybe you're the one that reaches out. You take that action. Maybe this is you go on dating sites, or you start dating, or you're opening up to the idea of dating. Whatever this is. Again, this is a collective reading, so it's going to resonate with everybody in a little bit of a different way. I'm just trying to provide some examples based on what you might be experiencing. So the valve opened up because you not only made a decision, but you also took action on that decision in some small way. And those small steps matter. The small steps matter too, because sometimes the smallest step is actually a quantum leap energetically. It might look like a small step in the physical, but it's a quantum leap energetically. The same thing they're reminding me of, because we channeled this before, the same thing can happen towards each other. You might be taking small steps towards each other. For those of you who are coming into contact, reunion, reconciliation, you might be taking small steps towards each other. It might be a little bit tepid. It might be that you're kind of testing the waters with each other. But what you're actually doing is building a stable foundation, a stronger foundation than you've ever had before, because you're in a much more conscious place and much more conscious state of mind now, in a much more healed state of mind. You're not who you were before, and that makes a difference. Your energy makes a difference. You're not who you were. You've grown, you've evolved, and so your connection is going to grow and evolve differently too. And we've been channeling this. You're going back to the beginning, but it's going to feel different because you're different. Again, I have a workshop called the Return to Union Workshop for those of you who are coming into reconciliation and reunion with a counterpart. So it might look like small steps, like you might be texting or making phone calls to each other, every now and then. It might not be every day, and it doesn't have to be. That's where you can get caught up in like the anxiety of it all. Don't get caught up in those consciousness loops. Don't get caught up in those traps. Be so firmly connected to yourself and so inspired and fulfilled by your own life that you're not seeking anything outside of yourself. Your counterpart is going to match you, is going to meet you there. It's like you have your path, your counterpart has theirs, and then your paths converge and you walk alongside each other. You're not looking to your counterpart to fulfill you. They only amplify whatever you've created for yourself. They enhance your partner, your romantic partner, your counterpart, however you want to phrase this. In any relationship, anything else is going to be a codependency. In any relationship that you have, whether it's a family member, a friendship, a romantic partnership, or this counterpart connection, Your partner is always going to enhance and amplify what you've already created for yourself. And anything other than that is you reaching, you seeking, right? And that's what we're getting out of. We're getting out of that paradigm. We're getting out of that template, that old template of connecting, that old template of relating. That's where you are empowering yourself, your counterparts empowering themselves, and then you match as partners. It might feel like small steps as you're communicating, as you're coming back together, as you're meeting, as you're in some way, shape, or form reconciling, as this reunion is taking place, but it is actually a quantum leap energetically. Quantum leap energetically. And so trust that process. And so with adjacent possibilities, there's a lot of opportunity that's coming in for you, Divine Feminine. It could relate to, again, your life as a whole with finances, jobs, dreams, goals, relationships, or it could be even your counterpart connection where, what the path that you thought it needed to take, or the blueprint that you thought you were, expecting, that you thought that you were adhering to. Again, don't limit yourself. You're writing the blueprint. Don't think that reunion reconciliation can only happen one way. It can only happen if they reach out. It can only happen if, for those of you who are at a distance, it can only happen if they're in my city. It can only happen if, XYZ. We place these limitations on ourselves, and love doesn't have a limitation. And so, yes, we are operating in our physical 3D world, but remember again that you're the conscious creator. And so, there are always solutions. We just limit ourselves with our ego thinking that the only solutions are what we can think of. But that's what a miracle is. A miracle is just a shift in consciousness. It's shifting from the narrowed mindset of what we think to opening up to a greater perspective, to a greater picture. When we just call it a miracle because we don't expect it, because we never thought it was possible, right? If you are limiting yourself, don't limit yourself. Don't close yourself down. Don't close your heart. Don't guard your heart based on what you're seeing or experiencing in the 3D. Keep empowering yourself. Keep nurturing the inner union because you are and always have been in union energetically. So keep nurturing the energy. Keep loving yourself. Keep fulfilling your life or making your life something that's fulfilled so that all these possibilities are opening up to you. All these possibilities are opening up. Okay. Let's see what's going on for the union. What do we need to know for the union? What do we need to know for the union? Angel of Strength. I like this card because it also indicates change. And at the bottom of the deck, I do want to point out that we have the contract card and blossoming abundance at the bottom too. So the contract is that justice card. It is balance. And so I feel like what this is karmic contracts ending, and that was what was playing out with the eclipse as well. There's a lot of closure that was happening in our lives. And so it's the cycles that were closing, the karma that was clearing. And so here, balance is coming back in. So with this angel of strength, what this feels like is courage. Courage to open your heart, keep your heart open, courage to love and lean into love, especially if you have avoided love, if you have pulled away from love, if you've been afraid of love, or if you've been afraid of opening your heart to each other again. It's having that courage because you're different, your counterpart is different, and so opening yourself up to allowing it to be different, forming a different foundation, a much more stable foundation. I also like that there's a number 5 because 5 is indicative of change. There's also something that's coming through about the number 5 being the halfway point. If you're looking at between 1 and 10, 1 being beginnings, 10s meaning endings, the 5 is the halfway point. There's something about that. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it feels like a turning point. Like what I'm actually getting is you have come so far with regards to your ascension journey. And this, okay, so what I'm getting is the first part was where you were kind of on this path individually. And this could have been years going through many different cycles, but we're looking at a big picture here. So 1 through 5 was, yeah, you were kind of, at the beginning of your ascension and you were doing things on your own, even though you were doing things at the highest level energetically together. You might have experienced separation. And so you were really growing and evolving from an individualized perspective. And now I feel like there's this turning point where the next half is, doing things together, learning how to be in partnership together, in relationship together, as a team, working together. So this feels like a turning point, like this halfway point as you are, this could be for life. This could be for your journey as a whole, the great big picture of your journey. So I'm not quite clear what this is. Take it as it resonates for you. But this feels like it is some kind of a halfway point, some kind of a turning point from the soul's perspective, like a bigger perspective. There is a change that is coming, the way things were before to the way things will be going forward. So at the core of this is having the strength, having the courage to love, to open up to love, to lean into love fully, where you might not have given it a chance before, or where you might have been guarded, or where you might have been unaware or unconscious of this journey, for example, or what you mean to each other, or how to operate together in a conscious relationship, in a healthy, healed relationship. Remember, we talked a little bit in the beginning about, if you're so accustomed to chaos, especially in relationships, when somebody comes in and brings peace, you're completely taken off guard. If you have been accustomed to conditional love, somebody comes in with unconditional love, again, it can be very much like foreign territory and you don't know how to handle it, and so you might sabotage it. Well, through your healing journey, through your ascension, you're much more aware, much more conscious, and so you approach it from the healed state, from the peace, from the unconditional love. And so this is having the courage, having the strength to come towards each other and lean into love where you might have sabotaged or held yourself back before. So again, I feel like this is both counterparts approaching the union in a healthy state of mind, in a conscious way. Both counterparts having the courage to step forward and put in that effort, that reciprocal effort for the union, for the sake of the union, and for the sake of love too. All right, let's get a little bit deeper. I'm really glad we're doing this today, actually. Let's get a little bit deeper. Let's see what's going on for the Divine Masculine, please. Let's get a little bit more for the Divine Masculine. What's going on right now for the Divine Masculine? What's their current energy? Current energy for the Divine Masculine. We have the High Priestess, the Six of Cups, and the Judgment card. So with that High Priestess here, I'm getting two cards, and there's that Justice card. Remember I was saying that about at the bottom of that Oracle deck? It was the contract. It was Justice. That's this card, and this has been coming out in our Sacred Union energy updates, especially in the masculine place, for the past couple of weeks. So Justice is all about balance, finding that balance, clearing that karma to come into alignment. And this Justice card also indicates fairness. So where there had not been reciprocity or equal effort, bringing in that justice to the connection is also what I'm hearing. And that's a little bit of a new message. One of my mantras now is effort where effort is given. I'm not putting my effort or my energy into anything where there is not some semblance of equal or mutual effort, equal or mutual exchange. And that's protecting of my energy, that is having healthy boundaries. So the new message that feels like it's coming through is akin to that, where it's like equal effort, mutual effort. It's not always going to be 50-50, you're always supporting each other, but there is that effort that's being had, and you're going to start seeing that more and more as you have those healthy boundaries, as you become more secure within yourself, as you become more connected to yourself. You're going to have that and experience that in all areas of your life, not just with a counterpart, but in family dynamics, in maybe a job. You're going to experience that as you have those healthy boundaries. You'll have that here. And again, we have a lot of workshops to help you navigate all of these teachings. We have a Mastering Spiritual Boundaries workshop. We have a Clearing the Karma workshop, all available in our Ascension Connections portal or the Higher Heart Academy. If you join the Higher Heart Academy for a monthly membership, you get all of our workshops as part of that monthly membership. So this is all about balance and clearing the karma, and also, again, a new message, having that energy of fairness and equal exchange. Very nice. So the High Priestess energy here with the Six of Cups and the Judgment card, I'm getting a lot of divine feminine energy on the masculine's mind and heart. I do want to talk about the masculine first, their message, because the High Priestess is also indicative of them, where they are connecting to their own inner feminine energy. And as they're connecting and honoring their inner feminine energy in a healed state, not the distorted feminine, not the wounded feminine, that's going to change how they see you, divine feminine. Just like you, divine feminine, have to work within your own inner masculine and heal that inner masculine so that you're building a safe container for yourself. That's where security comes in. That's where feeling safe in love comes in. That's where being able to hold your own emotions come in and regulate your own emotions. That comes from your inner masculine energy. And when you heal your inner masculine, that's when the feminine is able to anchor in. And for the divine feminine, who's a core divine feminine, that's when you are able to express the fullness of your feminine energy because you feel anchored, you feel safe, you feel secure within your own inner masculine. Well, then that is expressed in a relationship dynamic. If you're not feeling safe and secure within yourself, what is that going to look like in a physical relationship? It's going to look like codependency. It's going to look like perhaps anxious attachment. It's going to look like perhaps trauma bonds. It's going to look like in and out energy, hot and cold energy, runner chaser energy, because you're still seeking outside of yourself. You're still focused on lack or scarcity. You're not feeling secure within yourself, empowered within yourself. So the divine feminine, the healed divine feminine, is someone who is magnetic because she recognizes her personal empowerment. She recognizes her value. She recognizes everything that she has to offer. And she's able to regulate, self regulate, and hold that energy within her own inner masculine container so that her physical partner can meet her there. Now, when you're in a physical relationship, you also help each other regulate. This is not about, oh, I'm upset about something, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, you go off and self-regulate and then come back and we can talk about it. No, like it's holding space for each other. But you have to first be able to hold space for yourself so then you can hold space for each other when those situations come up. If you're not able to hold space for yourself, there's no way that you have the capacity to hold space for another person. So that's where the healing takes place as well. But it all starts within. That's why inner union then is what manifests into physical union. You have to have the inner union first. And so coming back to the masculine, I feel like what has happened is they have been learning to honor and trust their inner feminine. That's their intuition, that's their heart. And as they've been doing that, they have been rising in their masculine, learning again, just like the feminine did, how to hold that energy, how to express themselves, and how to feel safe in expressing themselves. Because you guys mirror the same wounds. You're coming from different angles, you're coming from different perspectives, but you have the same core wounds. You're mirroring each other always. And so, where the masculine, for example, I'm going to say males especially, because in this patriarchy, we especially see this in males, but masculine and feminine is not a gender, it is an energy, but it can play out in the global collective, especially as males versus females. So I just want to have that caveat as well. In males, we especially hear boys don't cry, right? Don't express your emotions, don't express your feelings, hold it in. Well, the same thing happens for the divine feminines. It is if she is tearful, if she is overwhelmed by her emotions, what's said to the feminine? You're hysterical. Don't cry. Even man up. You'll often hear that with the feminines as well, for females as well. But females were often discarded by their emotions because emotions were said to be weak, right? And that's where the masculines were said, or males were told, man up too. They've been told, don't express yourself, don't show your emotion, because that was seen as weak. Well, it's not weak. Your emotions are a strength because your emotions are actually showing you what it is that you're feeling. They are a barometer for your energy. They are data for you. Emotions are just energy, and when you're suppressing that energy, it becomes poison within you. Energy needs to be expressed. It has to go somewhere, and it has to go somewhere into a healthy outlet, not a toxic outlet. But what happens when you express it? What happens? It builds up and builds up and builds up, and that's where you get violence. That's where you get irrational anger. That's where you get outbursts, right? Because it builds. Well, if you have a healthy outlet and healthy expression, then you won't have that. So females, feminines, right, historically has, they've even put women in institutions for hysteria. That's what they used to call it, hysteria. And so what it was just an overwhelm of emotions. And so now it's having the container to hold those emotions. It's being able to not suppress it, but to, in a healthy way, express it. And both masculine and feminines, males and females, need to be able to express themselves and their emotions in those healthy ways, to have those healthy outlets by having those healthy containers within. So with the High Priestess here, and the Six of Cups and the Judgment card, I feel like what's happening is the Divine Masculine is tuning into their intuition, tuning into their heart, and even tuning into their creative power. Because masculines are powerful too. They are master manifestors as well, but they do it differently than the feminines too. They bring it more into that physical form, because the masculines will operate more in the physical 3D world. With the Six of Cups, this is a reunion with self. This is a reunion. This is their inner union, reuniting their masculine and their feminine, aligning the higher heart and the higher mind, aligning the intuition and the soul with their mind, and not the ego mind, but the higher mind, aligning the masculine with the feminine within. This is their inner union. And as they come into that inner union, what are they doing? They are rising within themselves. The Judgment card for me has always been a call to rise, a call to rise higher. It's also a second chance card, and that's where the Divine Feminine comes in. So as they're experiencing this inner union, trusting their inner feminine and learning to honor their intuition, honor their heart, honor their feminine energy, the more that they are coming into that inner union, the balance of the masculine and the feminine, the balance of the higher mind and higher heart, the more they are rising in their actual masculine energy. And what does that look like? That looks like stability. That looks like presence. That looks like consistency. That looks like leadership, knowing how to step up and take action and lead within their own life. When it comes to their actual feminine counterpart, what this looks like is trusting the Divine Feminine, trusting her energy, trusting her love, trusting her intuition. And so with the Six of Cups, this becomes an actual reunion, an actual physical reunion. They might actually be feeling energetically nostalgic. They might be experiencing some memories, those happy memories, those warm feelings coming back, because that is who you have always been to each other. The warmth, the happiness that you felt, that is the truth. It wasn't the triggers. It was the warmth, the harmony. That is the truth of your love with each other. And the Judgment card here is a second chance. So I feel like this is multi-layered. There's a lot that's happening here, both energetically and possibly even in the physical, but energetically within and energetically how they're experiencing their feminine counterpart. And that could be playing out in the physical as well. Let's take a look and see what's going on for the Divine Feminine. What's going on currently for the Divine Feminine? What's going on for the Divine Feminine? We have the Three of Wands. We have the Hermit energy. That's exactly how I'm feeling. Especially as it's getting a little bit cooler. The Hermit, the Three of Wands. We get one more card here for the Divine Feminine. What do we need to know for the Divine Feminine? Thank you. And the Nine of Wands. Okay, so I'm going to start with this, the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is indicative of, it's been a journey, and you might be feeling the weight of it. You might be feeling the burden of it, but you've also begun to let that burden down. You're not carrying that anymore. You're just kind of feeling maybe a little bit burned out, maybe a little bit wounded, and you might actually have a little bit of a guard up. Divine Feminine, you might still be kind of, if you're in reconciliation and communication with your counterpart, this is where you might be a little bit testing the waters. You might feel a little bit, tepid when it comes to communication, because it's been a journey for you. You have definitely been, through a lot with regards to this journey. And so I feel like you are letting the past be. You're not carrying the weight of the past anymore. You don't want to carry the weight of the past anymore, but there's still some healing that has to happen here. And I feel like that's what's happening with the Hermit and the Three of Wands, is you're recognizing that there's a change that's happening. You're recognizing that there is a shift that's occurring within your connection, within yourself, and with your counterpart. You're recognizing that it's not what it was in the past. That's where you've let the burden of the past down. But you're still kind of feeling your way through this. And that's where, with the Hermit card, I feel like you are needing to tune in further and further and further to yourself, letting go of what other people might say, letting go of what the spiritual community might say. Again, this is where you are writing your own blueprint. This is where you have to tune in and always, always, always trust yourself. We can listen to readings. We can get an idea from channelings with regards to how to navigate this journey. That's where we have resources and guides to help support us. But you always, always, always have to trust your own intuition, because that is your power. That is your power. Always trust yourself. Always trust your intuition. And I feel like this is you kind of going within and receiving those codes, going within and tuning into what you know, not what the 3D is dictating, not what the spiritual community is saying. Just, again, using that as, information, just getting information and data, but also trusting yourself. You're not so holding on to that information, not holding on to that data. You're not letting the readings dictate your journey for you. You're just letting readings and channelings inform you, helping you navigate, helping to support you on your path for what you already know. This is a big change from where you were, Divine Feminine, because in the past you might have been watching readings for your answers, right? Now the answers are coming from within you. And you might just be watching readings or getting readings to give yourself that clarity, because every reading is reflecting you to you. And sometimes we need that reflection as validation or confirmation, especially if we're a little bit confused. But it's not, I always say with readings is a reader will always present you with a possible timeline, but it's up to you. It's up to you. Your choices, your energy, your creativity, it's up to you. And so you can change the timeline that you're on. There was a time when I was getting a reading from somebody and I was like, this does not make any sense. I don't like this. Like, no, thank you. I don't want this. And so I used that information to shift my own energy, to make different choices, to change my own timeline. And sure enough, I did. And when I went back, because this was a trusted friend, when I went back and got another reading just to help me clarify, sure enough, the energy had shifted. And I didn't tell her anything of what I was doing, anything of what was going on. She was just laying it out, just as a reader does. But I shifted the energy. If I had not trusted my own intuition and just trusted the cards or what was channeled, then, who knows what could have happened. You have to trust yourself and take the readings as support to help you navigate your own choices. It's guidance for you. That's why when I'm doing my readings for people, I always say this is meant to be guidance. This is not predictive. There might be some stuff about the future in there, but it's only to open you up to possibility. It is meant to be guidance for you, and you always have to trust yourself. And that's what this Hermit energy is. And I feel like that is what's creating a big shift and a big change for all of your abundance to be coming down the river. He's just kind of relaxed, sitting back, drinking his cup of coffee. And you see how he has a cup of coffee? I've never noticed this before, I don't think. He has a cup of coffee there too. There's somebody that is coming. There's somebody that is going to sit in that chair, and he knows it. But he's not worried. He's just kind of, enjoying the view, knowing that that person's going to be there, trusting that that person's going to be there, but not constantly looking at his watch, not constantly checking his phone, not constantly checking to see what's, are they coming? Are they coming? Are they coming? That's seeking. That's creating more resistance. That's pushing it away. No, he just has that cup of coffee poured. He's enjoying his own. And he's like, yeah, I can trust this. I know what's coming. I know what's shifting. I know what's changing, because I myself am shifting and changing. I'm letting go of the past, and I am trusting in who I have become in this present moment. I am trusting the unfolding. I am trusting the unfolding. All right. What do we need to know for the union energies? What do we need to know for the union? The Knight of Pentacles. Yes, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. I have 2 quick stories to share. Spirit animals have been coming in for me just like crazy over the past couple of weeks. The first, there was a little turtle walking across a major road that I was on. And it made it safely across, thank goodness. But literally, had to pause and wait for the turtle to cross. And turtles are not the fastest, right? They take their sweet old time. But there's a purpose to their movement. There is a stability to their movement. And that's this energy here. It's slow and steady builds the foundation. And that's what you want for a sustainable union, right? If you rush into anything, then you might have old triggers come up, you might have old pains come up. And the point is to work through them together now, not separately, but to recognize the togetherness and to do that healing together, to create a new foundation for your relationship, for your connection together. And that is built on stability. It is built on a sense of safety and security with each other. It is built on consistency. It's a new foundation, and so slow and steady is what is going to create that sustainable union. But there is movement. The Knight is all about movement as well. Tell me more about the union, please. Tell me more about the union energy. We have the King of Pentacles and we have the Two of Wands. I love this energy. I love this Two of Wands because this Two of Wands doesn't feel like she's making a decision. It feels like the decision is already made. Which path do I choose? And that song from Led Zeppelin has been coming in over the past couple of weeks for the Sacred Union energy updates. I think we actually even did one called There Are Two Paths You Can Go By or something like that. You can look back in the playlist for that Sacred Union energy update. There might be additional messages there for you now. That lyric, yes, there are 2 paths that you can go by. In the long run, there is still time to change the road you're on. Well, then it was about if you are out of alignment, you can still pivot. You can still change the road that you're on to get back into alignment, to connect back to love. This doesn't feel like that. This feels like you've made that choice. You've made that choice to open up to love. You've made that choice of what path you want to take. And that's what the eclipse was bringing in for you. It was bringing in that clarity. It was bringing in that, it was revealing to you what road you actually want to take, what path you want to actually take to bring you into the highest alignment with love. And so because of that, you have the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is my favorite because they are stable, they are secure, they're consistent, they are even in the physical, maybe financially stable, financially secure, but most importantly, stable and secure with your heart. And so I feel like you have chosen the path that is in alignment with your highest sense of love, your highest connection to love, because it's your highest connection to yourself. You have chosen that path, and that path is leading to this King of Pentacles. That could be, for some of you, again, the counterpart, your twin flame, sacred partner, who that activated you to your ascension, that is now coming back around in a higher state of consciousness, having gone through their own ascension, through their own healing, and continues to do so. This could be a soulmate connection as well. Take it as it resonates for you, but it is going to be the King of Pentacles, which is such a beautiful divine masculine energy. This is going to be a divine masculine counterpart that is aligned to you because you are choosing that path. And paths are not fixed. It's not, oh my gosh, this is how I'm, okay, the analogy they're giving to me is if you are in a job, in the past it was like you choose a job and you're in that job until you retire. You're in that job for the rest of your life. You're in that job for the next 20 to 30 years. That's not the case anymore. Not with a job, not with relationships, not with, anything. It's not fixed. You get to keep choosing. The thing about conscious relationships is that you're choosing together. You're choosing each other. And so you get to choose what it is that you want for your life. And when you're entering into a relationship, when you're entering into a conscious connection, you are choosing each other consciously. That's what this energy feels like. It feels like you're choosing that path. And that path is your highest fulfillment, your highest joy, and the highest level of love. Let me just get a quick romance angels. I do want to do a romance reading eventually. for those who are experiencing romance or who want to experience romance. That will be coming down the pipeline. I'm not sure when, but it will be coming down the pipeline. So let's see, how is the Divine Masculine feeling about the feminine? How is the Divine Masculine feeling about the feminine? We have free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. Yeah, what I like about this, and make the effort. And reconciliation. I'm going to take all of these, and there you have my union card at the bottom there. This is all masculine energy. What I feel like free yourself is freeing themselves from that karma. We had, what do we see? The justice card, right? We talked a lot about the justice card. It's freeing themselves from that old energy, freeing themselves from that entrapment, especially where they were trapped in their mind. Now they're connecting to their higher heart, connecting the higher mind, not the ego, there's a difference. Connecting the higher mind to the higher heart, that's alignment, that's your inner union. And when you come into inner union, that's your liberation. You're not fearing love anymore. You're not holding yourself back out of past experiences and past pain and past wounding. This is literally a freedom and a liberation in love. Love is freedom. Love is liberation. It's just our own thoughts and beliefs that keeps us trapped. This is where they're freeing themselves. And this is where they're recognizing, I am free to love my counterpart. That's where reconciliation and make the effort comes in. I am free to love my counterpart. For some, this could be very specific, where they're ending old karmic contracts or relationships, and they are literally single and such, free to be in connection or love you as they wish to. That's going to be for a very select few of you who might resonate with that timeline or that storyline. For the most part, because we look at it from the greater energetic perspective, for the most part, this is freeing their beliefs, freeing their perspectives around love as a whole. And so recognizing that I can put in the effort and it's safe. I can love in mutual reciprocity and it's safe. I can step forward and take action on the relationship with my counterpart that I want, and it's safe. Because I am free from the blocks, I am free from the beliefs, I am free from the self-sabotaging tendencies that once held me back. Again, it's all because of that inner union. It's all because they're coming into alignment with themselves. That's where union happens. First within the self, and then within physical partnership and connection. How is the feminine feeling about the masculine? How is the feminine feeling about the masculine? We have you deserve love. This is not only for the masculine, where she's shooting that arrow at the masculine and saying, yeah, you fool, you deserve love. You've always deserved love, and I've always been the one giving it to you. Do you see now? She's like shooting that arrow at him like, do you see now? Do you see? But also, it's coming from her. She's saying, I love myself. I've deserved love. And so I'm not seeking that from you. I'm only able to love you as much as I do because I love myself. That is what true love is. It's not placing a condition on your partner. It's saying, I love myself so much that in that overflow, I'm able to love you. In that overflow, I'm able to be there for you. In that overflow, I'm able to love you so unconditionally because I love myself, because I see myself as deserving and worthy of love. I also offer that to you. It's a beautiful, beautiful energy. And for the union, please, what do we need to know for the union between the two? What do we need to know for the union between the two? Religious factors. This is my spiritual awakening card. This is ascending to a higher level of your ascension, but also ascending to a higher level of your union. Getting to know each other at the bottom of the deck, forgiving and learning as well. This is where you release the past, who you used to be, what your relationship used to be, unless it is continuing to perpetuate. If it's continuing to perpetuate, there is either a detachment that's needed or not engaging in that old energy. You know, keep saying, if it's perpetuating, you don't have to engage. If it's perpetuating, you don't have to accept that. If it's perpetuating, you don't have to allow for that. disengage from the connection, disengage from the energy. But this is for those who are applying new patterns, new behaviors, who are approaching the connection differently than it was in the past, more openly than it was in the past. Your heart is forward. I'm just getting this like forward facing energy. Your heart is moving forward, is forward facing. I don't know how to say that. This is getting to know each other on this new level, from this new version that you have become through your evolution, through your journey, forgiving and learning through this new level of your union. Very beautiful. All right, that is going to be it. I am going on a little bit of a break. Make sure that you're staying tuned to my social media newsletter and the Mystic and the Muse Substack for more information on what that means for our community. We have tons of timeless readings available here on YouTube. Make sure that you're checking out the in-depth Sacred Union channelings for more on how is this playing a part in your sacred union in the greater perspective, as well as we have a ton of resources available in the Higher Heart Academy and our Ascension Connections portal. Just feel free to explore everything at susandonspiritual.com. I am sending you all so much love, so much light, and we'll see you when we see you.